Welcome back to the S Girls Basketball Podcast, where we hear from real women, real ballers, and real stories. We are back with another duo episode, and today we're going to be talking about the differences between high school and college basketball. We both played in college. We have a lot of experience with all of that, and definitely have learned a lot. So it's going to be an exciting episode.
Yeah, I would say we've learned a lot, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Just like the whole idea of playing at a different level, and that's really what it is a different level of basketball, from the workouts to the practices to the what you eat to what you do with the team. It's literally you have school and then a whole nother life inside of basketball when you're in college. It's legitimately a job when you're in there. It takes up a lot of your time, so time management, I think, is the biggest difference that I could see from the change, for sure. But I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too. And again, take note as you're listening, understand that there are hundreds on hundreds on hundreds of colleges out there. So understand that everything that we're saying varies. Some colleges are smaller, some are bigger, some have more budget, some run things differently, so you have to understand that things will be different, but we're going off of our experience from individually playing, as well as knowing other teammates that have played at or former teammates that have played at different colleges, coaches we know, all of that. So we're just trying to give you an all around idea of what to expect if you're somebody who wants to, play in college. But Emma kind of said the first point, so we're going to go off of that. The sport is now your job. And as much as, athlete or student first, athlete second, it's most schools, it's half and half, if not more athlete than student. And the reason why we say that is especially if, I know Division III, you don't have athletic scholarships, but when you're on an athletic scholarship, most of the time you chose that school for the scholarship, or that was a big push while you were there. And understanding that you are now going to college to be on this team. So you have to understand that it's not just high school where you're at the high school, you're just there. That's the team that you're on. You have no really choice unless you pick up and move. This is a choice. Now it's a job. You have to treat it like a job.
Totally. I remember when my dad, it was my process of recruiting, and he was this is the time where in high school, you can pick what school you go to. You can pick what sport you play. In this college journey next, you have to wait for a school to pick you. You have to put in the work. You have to have them reach out to you, and then you can decide whatever's on your plate where you want to go.
Yeah.
And especially if you want to play in athletics, you can't just, and of course you can recruit, you can reach out to coaches, videos and emails and all of that. But in hindsight and in reality, you have to put in the work, and if they want you, they'll reach out. And if it's just not in their forte or their game plan, maybe they'll pass up on you. But this is the time period where you have to work for it. It's a job. And when we say that, we mean it in the nicest way possible, but it's the best job that could ever happen, especially if you put in the time and the work for it. And just knowing that it's a complete 360. Once you commit, once you put your name on that paper, you're really saying, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to stick with my schooling. But on top of that, I'm ready to give even 100% more than I ever did in high school. When it comes to workouts, when it comes to eating, when it comes to team activities, when it comes to games, it is a whole different experience, but it is the best experience if you actually put the work into it, I would say.
Yeah. And another thing is also why it's a job is because your college coach, that is their full-time job.
Yes.
High school coaches, majority of them, I know there's a few rare exceptions, but you are not making a career off of a high school salary. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily a make or break thing. If you're losing or you don't have the best season, they don't fire you like this. But in colleges, that's your job. Your job is to win. So when we say the sport is now your job, because that coach is putting faith in you, that coach is putting money into you in the term of a scholarship, because they could have picked somebody else. So that's what Emma's saying is you need to take it a little bit more seriously. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take high school seriously, but now you just leveled up. So anytime you level up, there's a little bit more seriousness.
There's a little bit more on the line. Yeah.
To that. And kind of segueing into that is the time difference. It's so different because this, and two, there's multiple different aspects in time. But for instance, we were given, here's the time that you can only have classes. You know, like
Oh my
this is
God.
our allotted, what do you say?
I remember, excuse me. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like for me, it was I couldn't have any classes between 3 and 7,
I
I
couldn't have any
think.
classes after 3
Yeah,
o'clock because we
because
practiced at like 5, but I
yeah,
had to go to classes by 3 because we all had to get there like at 4, sometimes 3:30 to stretch. Like it was a whole thing. Like
yeah, exactly. And some people, you had to do like night classes. Like guys, newsflash, there are some night classes that start at 8:39. I fortunately did not have to do one, but there are. I had teammates who had to. But understand that like you're going to have weird times, even first semester, second semester. I mean, there were times first semester where I was done with class completely at 12, but
oh yeah.
then I had like a gap in between. But then there were times where like I had class um, right up until practice and I had 15 minutes to get to class to practice. Fortunately, my class was like super close to the gym, but you know, like there's a lot of
Mm.
adjusting and time in. And then there's also more time put into um, basketball because you're not going from, you know, your 8 class periods a day to practice to home. You know what I mean? You're going to have maybe class, gap, class, practice, study tables, film, list. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a lot more time that is allotted to your schedule.
Yeah, and that, like, along with time management, because of everything that's going to be put into that schedule, is crucial because, like, you're bringing back memories that I forgot I even had from undergrad. But I mean, like, you're so right. I would go to like 2 classes and then I would have a practice for like, sometimes it was just a shooting practice. Like, we would divide up into groups and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to go to lunch. I'd have to like pack a quick snack in the morning because I'd have 2 classes. Then I'd go right to shooting. Then I'd have a class afterwards. And then I would come back for practice. Then we would have film after, and then I'd be able to go home. Then I'd be able to do my homework or whatnot. But even like it helps because then there were those days where, like you said, I got done with class. I remember like around 11 or 12, and we didn't practice until maybe like 5. In
Mm-hmm.
that allotted time, like those were the lucky days where we didn't have anything. It was like, hey, I have to do homework now. I have to do homework. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of practice like late as crap because we have film after, we have weights tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I have an early class. And like, you know, like it just keeps going. And
Yeah.
that's when like you really do want to take a break sometimes because your body's going to be tired. You're going to be tired mentally, physically, and like emotionally. So that's where that self-care comes in. You need to make sure that you allot some time for yourself because it is hard. It's not easy. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. I forget the statistics, but it's only like less than 2% or 1 point something of high school female athletes actually get to like go play in college.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a crazy low stat. So like when you get this opportunity, it's time to lock in. It's time to be ready. It's time to grow in so many different ways that you're going to learn about yourself. But it's the most rewarding if you put the right effort and time into it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this is not to scare you guys, it's just to give you
Absolutely.
reality and truth because I mean, there were times where it was exhausting because you feel like you're not getting that break you like you said, or like, you know, you're going from a really long class to practice. Or also too, again, let's talk about the travel time increases. You're not in high school anymore playing where sometimes your longest game might be 45 minutes to an hour, and that's considered like a long game. Like my average time to travel to a game was 4 hours, you know. So it's like,
Yeah, that was
and the
about.
yeah, and the closest was 35 minutes, and that was lucky because it was very lucky that we had that. But it was always 2.5 hours to 4 hours. But it's, guys, 4 hours there, 4 hours back. You know what I mean? Like it's
2 and 2.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, no, it's 4 hours there, 4 hours back. Or I remember my sophomore year of college, um, the first half of season. So up until Christmas break, we traveled 65 hours on the bus.
Oh my God.
Just the first. That wasn't all year. That was
God, traveling on a bus is like not fun either. I'm just
yeah.
gonna be honest. You can't sleep on a bus.
Your butt hurts.
Your butt hurts, your back hurts. It's
It's not
like
fun. I was lucky
having
because I'm
someone at
small.
home be your best friend.
No, literally. I was
Stretching,
lucky. I was
stretching.
small. What'd you say?
I said stretching too.
Stretching, yeah. Well, I was fortunate because I'm small, so I can like curl up and I
Yeah,
would sleep really well. But like that's not
I can't tell you how many times I would have been like the person, laying on the two seats and my feet are like on the window or like
Yeah.
across the aisle. Like, when it's sleep time on the bus and it's just so quiet. Like it goes from everyone like screaming, blah, 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 to like
Yeah.
dead silent. And you just look around, you see feet and arms and legs and people on
Everywhere.
the floor. Like you got to make
Everywhere.
it work if you want to get some sleep on a bus.
Seriously, I never in high school, even freshman year of college, like never really cared to like sleep on the bus because I don't know, I was just a super energetic person. Sophomore year hit and I said, I don't care if it's an hour drive. I'm sleeping. Like I would knock out and it was the best. And then you like wake up and obviously I'd wake up in time for the game and feel good. But then the one thing I will say that was a positive out of my stress fracture that I had my sophomore year is like I could sleep as long as I want and didn't have to worry. So like so the time went really fast.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it kind of sucked that I didn't get to play, but like
Totally.
my
Yeah.
sleep was good.
That's good. Yeah. I remember my longest travel trip was at my second college. And granted, remember my experiences are first from a D2 college and then I went to NAIA. And my second school, the NAIA school, we had made it to like nationals. And that was,
Oh,
I was like in Indiana. So I went all the way to Iowa.
yep.
And that trip, I think was like, I
We
want to
were
say,
8 hours from Chicago.
yeah, I think it was like 11 or 12 or
Mhm.
something for us. But y'all got to remember, buses break down. So take that into consideration.
Your bus broke down.
Spent 2 days traveling. It was already a 2-day travel trip. It consistently filled 48 hours of travel to get there. We were about probably like 4 hours away. So we weren't even done with our first day of driving and our bus broke down and we had to wait 2 more hours for like AAA to come out and help us with the engine. Like we needed some like spark plugs, like it like completely died. And then we ended up making it to our hotel and then only there for a night, wake up, drive the rest of the 6 hours to get going. And I think we had like team dinner and film that night. And then the next day was like morning practice. And it's just like you need to be able to maintain your body in a healthy manner during those times. I remember everyone was packing like fruits and nuts and granola bars and whatnot because you're going to get fed on these trips, but it's not going to be like 5 stars, like healthy protein leans all the time. Sometimes you're going to get like, McDonald's or Subway, and that's totally fine. But just know like you also have to maintain like what you're eating on the road. Otherwise, that'll hit you when you get
Yeah.
to.
Okay, two things.
Yeah, I know.
Our travel like eat
Uh-huh.
time or whatever we ate, I always remember going to Sioux City was
Mhm.
Noodles and Company. Like we stopped there so many times.
Literally.
But did you charter or did you ride like a regular bus?
No, we chartered.
Okay, yeah, because we chartered too, but we'd go straight through. Like we didn't stop. We would only stop for like
Yeah, the only reason
food.
we stopped is because like our coach's family lived like in the city where
Uh,
we were stopping. So our parents wanted to like see the girls and have like this like little dinner party or whatnot for us. And
Gotcha.
so we ended up like taking so long when the bus broke down. It was kind of everyone was like, okay, thank you. Like we're actually stopping tonight. Like we're not
Yeah.
gonna keep going.
That
So
we did that too. That reminded me because one of our teammates was in Iowa, but
mhm,
like it was still like 2.5, 3 hours, or even maybe four
yeah.
from where she was to where we were going. So like it was like our midpoint stop. So like we would get up, drive, and get to their house for like lunch,
Mhm.
and then drive the rest of the way. But obviously for nationals, because like if you guys couldn't guess, we played in the same nationals. As you can tell, we were going the same place. But the first we went, my coach wanted to do this thing where like we start off the season in Iowa, we end the season in Iowa. So we had a tournament. We drove all the way the 8 hours to play a tournament, but we didn't charter. We drove like the regular like buses that you would drive for the like
I'm crying for
close
you.
games. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a school bus, but it's still a
Not a child.
bus and it's not a charter bus. And yeah, that one was a killer. That one was a killer because charter, you get your full seat. Those buses, you don't.
Absolutely. And
So
I
yeah.
remember, I keep going.
No, that just say that
No,
brings back memories.
no, no, literally, because we did that for at my D2 school, my shortest travel time. We went to Tennessee. That was about 2.5, 3 hours. That was our shortest of the entire year. Our longest was anywhere from 9.5 to 10.5 hours. And
Oh,
those were trips where we would go, like we would leave Wednesday through Sunday night. And when we left Wednesday, it was like Wednesday morning at like 5 a.m. And like you had to be on the bus by 5. It left by 5:05. Like if you weren't on there, like the bus was leaving. So you just see
Yeah.
like all 15 of these girls just dragging their luggage through campus. It's foggy and we're like, what the
Yeah.
heck? Like we should still be in our beds. Everyone's getting their McDonald's and whatnot. I'm like, how are you guys eating right now? Like I want to
Yeah.
try and
For
go back.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, for
No.
what? For like why? They have bagels on the bus. Come on. And I remember those trips because we would spend all of Wednesday driving and get there Wednesday night. And what sucked because like we made this like a 2-game trip. So we would then like play like on Friday or Saturday or something like that. And we would leave depending on the game. If it was Saturday late at night, we would usually stay. But if it was like a 1 o'clock game, we'd get done around 2 or 3, shower, get back on that bus because we're driving 7, 8 hours straight right back home. And those are brutal. I'm not gonna lie, because you'll get back to campus at like, like 2 a.m. and it's just like ominous and it's just dead. And it's just like, I just want to
Yeah.
sleep forever.
Yeah. And then a lot of times you have class the next morning. So
Yeah, that's
it's
fun.
not fun.
I've only ever like intentionally, because I was so tired from like traveling, missed like I think 2 or 3 classes.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
like
I would save
instead,
my skips for
yeah.
those.
And the thing is, like, what's really cool about college too is professors know you're going to be on a sports team. So don't think that they don't know, like, you have a busy life because they're noted of that before the beginning of the year. And luckily, I had coaches that also sent out like emails and paper forms that said like these are the dates throughout the entire course of this year, like where so and so is going to be gone from your class, and they like sign off of it at the beginning of the year so everyone's aware. But then it's your responsibility as a player, as a person, as a student to communicate that with your professors when that time is coming up for you to travel, like a week before, because they're not going to give you special treatment for your exams, for your projects and everything. If you do your work, you make a good relationship with them, you never know. But just because you're traveling doesn't mean you don't get to do the homework, doesn't mean you don't get to do the assignments.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's another big thing that I noticed from high school to college was the homework level and the seriousness of it. And I think we can kind of segue into that and be like, it's crucial that you do your homework because in a lot of college areas, you're going to hear student athlete and you're going to hear a lot of people put student first. And in my case, they did scholar athlete. We were big on the whole term scholar. And so we prided ourselves. And I remember at my D2 college, I think we were the highest women's team on campus with the highest GPA.
Yeah.
Working like away, like full circle, like we always did like endurance tests at the beginning and like at the halfway point during Christmas. And I remember one year we had the highest GPA like on
Yeah.
the out of all the women's team, and coaches were like, okay, like we're gonna cut our endurance test in half because you guys did so good this first semester. So like things go full circle and whatnot, and like coaches see that, teachers see that, they appreciate that. And even though like it's a tough thing to do, be a student athlete at the same time as you're studying and playing a sport, coaches are going to see that and they're going to like, help you through it. It's not like a boot camp. We don't want to scare you. It's just you're going to have to work for it. And when you work for it, you will get rewarded, as in terms like my whole endurance test was cut in half. And let me tell you, that's 10 less sprints I had to run. So yeah.
No. I
Yeah.
also don't understand. I've been saying this because I will say maybe it was because just being a film major. So like more of our work was like we didn't write many essays or we didn't do that. A lot of things were like more hands-on type of work. But I don't know how these girls who are in my dorm, like dorm, people, mates, whatever, we're all like, how, I don't know. I can't get things done. Like I'm so stressed with my workload. I'm this and that. And I'm like, you do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not to knock that like different majors, like I get it. But the only reason I'm saying this is like you could say, oh, I'm a nursing major, I'm this. Guys, I had half of my team were nursing and engineer majors. Those
Wow.
those are
Yeah.
like most colleges don't allow you to be a nursing major because of how intense it is. So don't get me wrong, I understand, especially higher up you go. I'm more talking about like freshman year. The higher up you go in their nursing, like you have more hours, you have more studying, you have this. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I have grace and empathy for you. I get it. But I'm just saying, I just don't understand how college athletes who are traveling nonstop, who have designated, anywhere between 2 to 5 hours daily on
Mhm.
their sport plus class, and are still getting their work done and are still graduating and so this. So like for people who are like just going to school and you're not really involved with much, you're just classes and hangout time. I'm sitting here like, I don't want to hear you complain because I'm like, that
Yep.
makes no sense because my roommate here, who's a nursing major, is studying any chance she can get because
Mhm.
she has to, but you don't have that time. So I'm sitting here like,
Absolutely. And I feel like that's where like the different breed of being a college athlete does come into play from a high school experience.
yeah.
It's we loved our experiences in college. Yes, did we learn a lot? Yes, did we go through some things? But did we have so many good times? Yes, we did. And this is the time where you really make the choice. You're like, am I ready to do this? Am I ready to put in the work in aspect of my life? Because you really see the difference, and especially when you're surrounded by people who are doing the same thing, who are studying, who are putting in time, are working out, are going to class, you find these qualities that stand out in those people, that stand out in yourself. And I think that's what's really cool about the college world, regardless of what sport, regardless of what gender as well. You find this common ground with other people that love to work hard, love to be a teammate, love to get their work done, love to use their time wisely, love to get better and grow. And by
Mhm.
surrounding yourself with those people, it's going to make everything else easier. Next thing you know, you're doing off day workouts with like 4 or 5 of your teammates because you're all like, we don't want to do it, but let's do it together because we can kill it and get it done faster. Next thing you know, you're studying with like all your roommates because that's the only time that you can study. And they're like, hey, let's study, like, let's get it done. I don't want to knock this off any longer. You're going to find people who mesh and build with you. And that I think is the most comforting thing in a college experience, especially when it's new, it's scary, it's a lot to take on. Like everything else is the levels are times 10 almost. And it's just a big shock. It's really like a culture shock. And I use that culture shock lightly, obviously. But in the basketball world, a culture shock is definitely something where you find out things about yourself, qualities and whatnot that you can do and some that you can't do. And it's okay to admit if you can't do some of those. And it's always okay to ask for help if you ever feel too stressed out too.
Mhm. And I feel too like it's more of a family atmosphere than high school because
Absolutely.
you might not have class with like your high school teammates. You might not see them in this. And yeah, you might not see your college teammates in class, but like you're with them so much. You're practicing, you're in the locker room, you live with them most of the time, you're traveling with them, you're there because of that sport, most
Mhm.
likely. Like I know obviously degree and your academic portion, but like you also chose that college to play at because you like the program as well. So and know that you guys are there for the same reason. You both all of you guys made that choice. So you just build like a really big family atmosphere and like they're your go-tos, and
Absolutely.
it's like a really fun thing because now like you're not living at home. You know what I mean? You're hanging out with each other instead of like going home, you're going to each other's apartments, you're riding with each other to practice, you're walking with each other to practice, you're go getting lunch with each other after. You know what I'm saying? You vent to each other, you're with each other nonstop, which sometimes, you might need a break. I'm the type of person I don't really need breaks from people. Like that's just
Yeah.
me. I know some people but I'm extremely extroverted. So like I get
Same thing. Yeah.
we are a rare exception, but it was such an amazing experience to like always have my team and like I miss it. You know what I mean? I miss that like
Every day.
college feel, just being with your teammates and all of that. So those are just a few things I felt like are different between high school to college. If any of you guys are in college right now, like I would love to hear maybe what you're finding that's different. Especially because I mean, there's new stuff now. Like obviously now you can make money off your likeness and you can do
Mhm.
that. We didn't have that. Not saying that we would have that, but like we didn't have the option.
Yeah, literally. So maybe I would have made like $100 off my name. I
I
don't know,
mean,
but
maybe
I'd like to think I would,
I know, right? Come on.
right?
But
But all in all, like definitely from like this conversation, there's so much more we could have talked about. I also just want to touch on one quick thing really quick, just to
yeah,
know like when you do get to this college level, you are known as a basketball player.
yeah.
You are known as a student at this college, and you have that college and that rep on your chest and on your back. So what you do, how you act, how you perform will be seen, will be heard, and will be talked about. And I'm specifically talking about off the court, how you act, how you represent yourself, and how you post on social media. It is going to be watched, it is going to be monitored. And this is a time where your face and your physical presence right here and your abilities are representing a school. So people are going to know your name, whether you know them or not. People are going to talk, people are going to put two and two together, realize that's your face with that name. So please just be careful with whatever you do. We want you to have fun, enjoy college, and there are going to be like temptations in every aspect of life, but especially in college, just remember you are representing this school, these coaches that took the time to take some of this money to give you a scholarship, to willingly work with you for the next year or so, how long that like time is that you're at that school. And you're representing a team of 15 girls as well. And the same thing goes for them. There are ripple effects, but just know, like, do good, be a good person, do what you need to do, and you will have good ripple effects. So I'm not saying we all don't make mistakes, but just be cautious and know that it's a bigger spotlight than high school.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good way to end off. I love that so much. Again, if you are in college right now, we'd love to hear some different changes that you have, because I know that there's a lot that we probably didn't hit. I know we had a few points here too that we didn't, but I just felt like we hit so many that I was like, I don't want to overwhelm all you guys. But if you have any questions too, make sure to message us at Us Girls United as well. And give us a follow. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as rate and review this podcast, because season 3 is going full force and it's really fun. We've had some really good interviews so far. So really excited just to keep giving you guys all this powerful content. Boom. With that being said, we will see you guys next week. Peace.